Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be talking about monthly spreads and where I've been and where I am now and why I like a monthly spread but how I like setting it up. That sounds like a lot, it's actually not that complicated. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so in front of me I have a bunch of different monthly spreads, like a bunch. I've got the one that I'm currently using, or the two that I'm currently using, and then some old ones. And what I thought I'd do is kind of walk through monthly spreads and why certain ones have worked for me, don't work for me now, and what is working for me. So let's go old school. Old school. If you've been with me for a while, you remember when I used to do these videos. So I'm just going to put everything out of the way. You remember when I used to do my monthly decoration videos. And you remember what they look like. Now some were reasonably simple. Like this is seriously just some washi tape and some stickers. These are Kiki K inserts, by the way, in case you don't know. Really, really, really simple. And this is where a monthly spread for me works. If it's simple. Because it just needs to be an overview of what's coming this month. I don't want to overwhelm myself with what's happening, and in a minute you'll see why I ended up stopping using these because I did go too far. So there's January. That was really easy. February started getting a bit busier. Not so bad Monday to Friday, but weekends with all the footy and all the netball and all the everything, it just got a bit much. And the more I tried to shove into these, the harder it got. So it's sort of, this is about, I think, where I stopped. I think I decorated the rest of this year out. I love the way some of these came out. I love decorating them. I have no issue decorating with them. But just eventually, some of these are better than others, just eventually they kind of became too much. And it's a reflection more on me than on anything else. But I just stopped using monthlies because they became too hard for me to cope with. Although I do really remember that one. I love that so much. There's a beautiful PA one that I still love. I think that one was probably one of my best ones, even though it was a little bit over the top. Anyway, that sort of shows you where we've come from. That was what I did. See, that was still one of my favorites. And then this is I moved from a Kiki K. Oh no, that was the last year I used Kiki K, and then I moved into some of my Aussie Planner Chick ones. These ones, they do work, but they work as long as you don't overcrowd them. And as soon as you start trying to add too much into it, in my experience, that's when these become a bit too much. So we'll move on from there. Other kinds of ones you can have. So just to show you a few. So you've obviously got your Hobonichi. This one would work for me as well. This is exactly the same layout. It's just obviously a little bit smaller. It would still work, but again, you've got to kind of bring down what you keep in it. When you move to 2-page ones, so these ones are from Chasing Planner Piece, same sort of thing. When you've got a 2-page spread, you've got more room to write things in, but I think that lulls you into a false sense of security because you think you've got so much room, but when you actually chuck everything you've got in. Now obviously, little preface here, halfway through, this is when the world is normal and when we're doing things on a regular basis. And generally monthly spreads, I'll put things I'm doing, appointments that are really important that I kind of need to have an overview of. And for me, football goes in there because football is really important, but it would only be games I'm going to, not games that are just on TV like I do with all the others. So those ones, the Hobonichis, and then these ones from Whistle and Birch, which we're going to have a play in the Whistle and Birch in a minute. These give you the room to be able to be complicated if you want to. But this is where I would highly suggest pulling back. And you'll see in a minute how much I've pulled back with my monthly spreads compared to where I was. These ones have plenty of room, easy to decorate. We're going to decorate this one together in a little bit with just some washi tape. I'm not going to go over the top because I've learned not to go over the top in monthly spreads. But then on to what actually has been working for me. I use 2 different kinds of monthly spreads because I use 2 different kinds of planners. There's my regular planner, which I'll show you in a sec. And then there's my YouTube planner. Now my YouTube planner, my monthly spread is probably more important than my weekly spread because this is where I put down all my little post-it notes and pull them around to move videos around. And all that's in here is date and what's on that video that day. And it's only the videos. In the weekly stuff, I keep track of all of my Instagram and Facebook posts, but here it's just videos. And this makes it really simple. You can see the decoration is really simple. It's a bit of washi tape, a couple of stickers, that's it. I find not going over the top makes monthly spreads much easier to follow. So really, really simple, just writes everything in there, that's all it is. That's what that looks like before. These are Planner's Anonymous inserts, and all I do is I just stick the stickers on, problem solved. Problem solved. But this is where I've ended up in my regular planner, and this is why I wanted to show you, because it is so simple. It is a one-page spread. I've got my days of the week, and this starts out looking like this. It's just a plain dot grid, and I just draw it all up, and I can decorate it any way I like. So last month had a bit more stuff to it, and the month before was a bit different again. So I just change them up. All it has in here has the month, really obvious, and I can do that with a sticker or stamps or drawing or anything I like. The days, anything that's important. So for this one it's Father's Day. I'm sure there's something more important, but like normally Grand Final Day would be down here. If it's a public holiday, those sort of things, they go in here. Birthday list, the little red tick means I've celebrated that person's birthday or sent them their card. And these change. They can be appointments, they can be podcasts I want to listen to, they can be cards I have to send, it can be whatever I like, and a lot of the time they stay empty, but that's okay. It takes me probably an hour to draw this up and colour it and decorate it however I like. It's an hour well spent for me because it means I'm very present in what's happening this month. I'm very across what's happening, and that makes life really, really easy for me. And this is why this has stuck. This has now been 2 years that I've been using this kind of system, and it just works for me because it gives me that really clear overview of these are the big things that are happening this month as opposed to this week, which is what I concentrate on when I move to my weekly decos. But there's monthly spreads. I find the simpler you can make them, the easier they are for you to use. If you are someone that likes to write down everything you do, I feel like a monthly spread is always going to overwhelm you because you're always going to look at it and go, oh my God, I have so much to do. Monthly spreads should be keeping track of birthdays, events that like birthday parties, weddings, those kind of things that you kind of want to count down to. But appointments and stuff like that should be weekly stuff. You shouldn't be sort of, as long as you remember they're there. But if you want to put appointments in monthly spreads, you can obviously. Well, just really quickly, I just thought I'd show you how I would set up a monthly spread in my Whistle and Birch these days. Obviously with mine, I tend to just sort of go plain. I tend to play with ink or coloured pencils or coloured markers or stuff. If I was playing with this one, because there's a little bit less room for me here, seriously, washi tape would just about do it. So let's have a look. What have I got? Let's play with some green. So this is a tickled pink washi tape. I'm just going to get my washi cutter from Fox and Cactus because with a coil planner, these kind of things are your bread and butter. So I would cover this up, but I'm just going to white out the important and the next month, just so you can't see see it so much. Because I've got the dots there, I think it'll be fine. So tuck that in there. Washi tape that off, and I do the same thing over here. A little bit complicated. You of course don't need to decorate any of this. You can leave it exactly as it is. It's fine. But if you do like to add just a little bit of personality, I don't think I'm going to be able to. This is why I have trouble with coils. We'll work upside down. Got our little planner babies happening on there. Now you could seriously leave it just like that, but because, you know, I'm a bit weird and stuff, I'm just going to add in some stickers here from, this is a Kaiser Craft sticker book, but it's got this really pretty mint, which is a slightly different shade of green than this one, but I feel like it'll all wobble in together. So I want to grab this green one. This one here, it says the best is yet to come. I'm going to put this down here. I have a feeling that these boxes will fit in here very, very, very easily. almost the exact right size. Almost. And then, so we do know we have things happening, so let's actually do this like it would be a normal one. So I'm going to set it up with a little green spot. Maybe not. It might be a little bit too big. Because what I was going to do is put a little spot for birthdays and stuff, but they just sort of feel like they're a bit big. And that's, again, you don't want to overpower the day by putting something that's too big on it. So, rather than putting them, oh no, we will put them on the day. I'm going to cut this in half. Thankfully I have an even amount of birthdays in September. So I'm going to put, where are my tweezers? Put some of these spots up here. I love this collection. I forget how much I love this collection. So I'm just going to have a look at my September spread because it's got all my birthdays on it and I forget where they are. And rather than writing in black, I'm going to go in with this slightly green tinged marker. So I'm just going to write these in. The decorator in me wants to go crazy, wants to give this a bit more. But the person that knows that monthly spreads need to stay plain is just standing back and going, okay, I need to slow this down. I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow, just so there's some extra colours, and that sort of brings this teal in line with this one. So I see something yellow over this side, and then I'm actually going to leave it alone, because the more you overpower a monthly, the harder it becomes to actually read it. And I know I covered up the date there, so all I'm going to do is come back in here. Just so happens that the 27 is a... Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to write it in. And that would be as simple as I would leave that. I would never go too much more complicated than that anymore, because I don't find it then productive to go too crazy. So it's really, really easy. I can see all my birthdays. It's obviously different to the way I'd set up my regular one, and if you guys want to see me set that up properly and I give you all the measurements and all the bits and I'll show you how I decorate it start to end, let me know and I'll do that for next month. That's really easy. But monthly spreads to me need to be simple. I think I've said that enough now. That's not the way you have to do it, it's not the way you should do it, but it's the way that works for me and way I think monthly spreads work best for most people. Let me know though if you don't agree with me. If you think that it's much more fun to have a really decorated, really heavily decorated and heavily filled up monthly spread, let me know. I'd love to see. You can tag me in anything you make. You can always find me on Instagram and on Facebook, and of course if you're on YouTube, you can leave me a comment down below. If you did enjoy this video, if you found it helpful, please give it a big old thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye! Oh, I forgot to put one very important thing in. One very important thing. I always forget it. I gotta put my live in. And now we're done. Bye!